Let's go straight to the business of the day. First, let's start with this subject. Afenifere, the pan-Yoruba socio-political and cultural organization, is currently turned by a crisis over the endorsement of two presidential candidates, Bola Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and Labour Party's Peter Obi. Chief Adebanjo, who has for more than 2 years served as acting leader of Afenifere, had before now spoken about a collective decision of the group to back the candidacy of Peter Obi. But just last week, leader of the group, Chief Ruben Fashoranti, gave his blessings to the APC standard bearer, Tinubu, who visited him in Akure, Ondo State. By virtue of their status as father figures in the organization, many political watchers have been a little surprised by the inability or refusal to take this conversation away from the public space. Renowned journalist and publisher Dare Babarinsa joins us now to look at how this crisis may affect the immediate future of Afenifere, as well as the chances of the two presidential candidates, especially in the southwest geopolitical zone. Thank you very much, Mr. Dare Babarinsa, for joining us on this Live, the Sunday Talk Show.
Thank you very much, Ruben, for the honor of being here at this time.
Well, welcome to the program. Well, I mean, you were one of the conveners of that meeting on Sunday, October 30, at which the leader of the Afenifere, Chief Ruben Fashoranti, along with others, received an audience the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress. And that has generated a lot of controversies, with Chief Fashoranti and another group within the Afenifere endorsing Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the acting leader of Afenifere, Chief Adebanjo, saying that that is not the position of Afenifere, because before now, he as acting leader of the group had said publicly that the position of Afenifere on the grounds of justice, equity, and good conscience had endorsed the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi. What is the background to this controversy? As one of the conveners of that meeting, I guess you will know, and what is the way forward?
Thank you very much, Ruben. First and foremost, the meeting in Akure, we call it the meeting of Yoruba leadership. It was not convened as a meeting of Afenifere. If it would have been convened by Afenifere, then it would be convened by officers of Afenifere. But the two of us that signed the letter of inviting people, Abagunkola Omololu, who is a chieftain of Afenifere, is an officer of Afenifere, and myself. I am not an officer of Afenifere. So we called the meeting of Yoruba leadership to discuss the way forward towards 2023. And central to that summon was that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a distinguished son of Nigeria, and the candidate of the APC for president, should also be there. So he came with his entourage, a very large entourage, and as we said in our letter, that is a meeting of leadership. Many distinguished sons and daughters of Yoruba were present. And it was in their presence that Papa Fashoranti prayed for Asiwaju. It is just like that. People call it controversial, but that was just the event, which we believe is a good thing for Nigeria and a good thing for Yoruba land. Thank you.
Yeah, but was it a prayer session or an endorsement? Because Pa Fashoranti was reported as having said that I will see you in Aso Villa in 2023, and he placed his hand on Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So was that a case of the Yoruba leadership, as you have said, endorsing their own and playing the politics of ethnic irredentism?
Well, basically, you don't expect Asiwaju to come to Akure. And having visited Baba Fashoranti, Baba Fashoranti asked him to kneel down so that he can pray for him. would he also be negating the prayer immediately? So part of the prayer is that what he has prayed for will come to pass. So if you call it an endorsement, maybe that is it.
But there's also this controversy, although you are saying there's no controversy, but there's a controversy about the leadership of the Afenifere. Papa Fashoranti is referred to as leader. Papa Adebanjo is referred to as acting leader. So do we have functions? Yes. Do we have two leaders in Afenifere or in Yoruba land? Considering the fact that the leader of Afenifere is also considered leader of the Yorubas, as we saw with our Papa Awolowo, as we saw with Papa Ajashin, all the way down the line in the history of the Afenifere.
Historically, Papa Awolowo was the first person to be referred to as leader of the Yoruba. And he was called leader, not at a meeting of Afenifere, but at a meeting of what they call the Yoruba Leaders of Thought at Makpo in 1967, on the eve of the Nigerian Civil War. And he was given that, no, I think it was 1966, and he was given the title Asiwaju Yoruba. So in 1995, when we called, at the heat of the Abacha crisis, when we called a meeting of, we called it the Yoruba Summit at the Premier Hotel in Ibadan, Shibolage was the one who read the communique, and he said, the leader of Afenifere shall also be referred to as Asiwaju Yoruba, shall also be the leader of the Yoruba people. And it was carried on that day. And since then, whoever is the leader of Afenifere is also referred to as the leader of the Yoruba. So for some years now, at least 2 or 3 years, we believe that the position of leader of Afenifere is very important, because Afenifere is a legacy organization of the Yoruba people. But we also believe that if the leader of Afenifere is going to fully occupy this position as leader of the Yoruba, then he has to go beyond just being the leader of a single political party. He should be ready to welcome different kind of people into his house. So we try to organize a meeting of leaders. It is not a fly-by-night adventure. The process has been on for at least 2 or 3 years. And we have made a lot of consultations. And in the end, we agreed that the person to host the meeting of Yoruba leadership needs to be the leader of the Yoruba. And that was how we arrived at going to Akure. This does not diminish from the position of Baba Adebanjo as acting leader of Afenifere, a position that has been occupying for more than 2 years. So Baba Fashoranti has only played his role as Asiwaju Yoruba by hosting that meeting. Originally we thought other presidential aspirants, like the aspirants of the SDP, like the aspirant of PRP and others, can also come to Baba Fashoranti's place. But as it is now, maybe those things may be on hold until some time.
Okay, you wrote a piece this week in which you titled, "In Yoruba land, a king is not buried alive. A king is not buried." Now, and you were suggesting in that piece that, yes, this is not the first time you will have leader of Afenifere and also an acting leader of Afenifere. But for as long as the leader is alive, his home is the base of the meetings of the group and of the Yoruba, and that he remains the leader. But Pa Adebanjo insists that he is the de facto leader, and that the right place to hold meetings is in Ogbo, in Ijebode, in Ogun State. Clearly, there's a conflict. Clearly, there's a division. So what do you mean that a king is not buried? Is Afenifere running a monarchical system? I think that is basically figurative. Afenifere is not running a monarchical system.
Obafemi Awolowo was not a king, neither was Papa Jasin. And Baba Adesanya was not a king also. But the issue I stated in that article is very clear. Nonetheless, I think Baba Fashion has issued a statement that Papa Adebanjo remains acting leader. I think we should just leave it like that. The two of them are elderly people. And it is not appropriate for me to come here to be discussing the two of them.
Yeah, but Pa Adebanjo also said that most of the people at that meeting, these were persons who have not been attending Yoruba meetings or Afenifere meetings, and that they are just marginal people, and that he will deal with them at the appropriate time. So who are these marginal people? Maybe Bashorun Arogbofa,
I think
maybe Chief Akinyelure, maybe Otumba Gbenga Daniel, maybe Chief Bisi Akande, maybe the representatives of Chief Olusegun Oshoba. Who are these marginal people in Yoruba land?
I think Papa Adebanjo is only emphasizing that we really need a meeting of Yoruba leadership. Those who can really make things happen in Yoruba land. At the meeting in Akure, we had His Excellency, the Governor of Ekiti State, Biodun Oyebamiji was there. The Deputy Governor of Ondo State was there. The Deputy Governor of Oyo State was there. The Chief of Staff to the Governor of Osun State, Charles Akinola, was there. The former Deputy Governor of Ogun State, Segun Adeshegun, was there. Delegates came from Lagos. Delegates came from Kwara State. His Excellency Governor Cornelius Adebayo, the former governor of Kwara State, was there. Governor Gbenga Daniel was there. I think Archbishop Ayo Ladigbolu was there. Chief Pius Akinyelure, Governor Bisi Akande. These are eminent people anywhere in this country. And therefore, I think we should excuse Papa Adebanjo for using just words. I don't think he meant it really. What he meant was that most of these people are not really members of Afenifere, but they cannot be denied their rights to attend Yoruba leadership meeting.
Yes, but this same meeting, you've quoted some of the prominent Yoruba persons who were there. There were others who were not there. Chief Shola Ibisheni was not there, and he's been very active in managing the Afenifere under the leadership of Payo Adebanjo. He was not there. There were others who were also very conspicuously absent. Oba Olaitan, who is deputy leader of Afenifere, was also absent, yes. And so were others. But I now understand that a four-man committee has been set up, a reconciliation committee, including Chief Olufalaye and others. How much progress do you think that four-man committee can make?
I don't know whether, I'm not aware of the committee, so I believe that the committee may have been set up by our leaders. But I don't think there's any need for any committee. There is no, what we need to do is to build more on the gains we have made from Akure. We are able to attract the leadership. We need to expand the leadership and not beyond the regular people who have been going to Afenifere meeting. Yoruba leadership is bigger than Afenifere. It's not just those who are on the register of Afenifere who should be considered mainly Yoruba leadership. Currently, apart from the governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde, I don't know of any other governor who is a regular member of Afenifere. So if you are talking of Yoruba leadership, are we going to discount the governors? Are we going to discount those who are currently senators? Are we going to discount those who have held important offices before? So in our meeting in Akure, we had retired generals were there. General Bajawa was there. Many other generals were there. I mean, these are people, when we are talking of Yoruba land, they should be part of it, not just the regular Afenifere people. And I believe Baba Adebanjo will not object to this. Therefore, what we had in Akure was a very successful starting point, and we are going to build on it.
You said the meeting in Akure was a meeting of the Yoruba leadership. Can we take it for granted.
Yes, it was.
As expressed.
Yes, it
that
was. You can see those who attended.
That the Yoruba leadership is backing Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and they do not agree with Pa Ayo Adebanjo, who is arguing on the basis of principle, justice, and equity, that it is time that Yorubas supported the Southeast in the person of Mr. Peter Obi. Have the Yorubas taken a position on ethnic grounds that our own is our own?
I don't think it's on ethnic terms, but basically people must take a stand. In 2015, most Yoruba people voted for Muhammadu Buhari now, and there is no way you can say it's related to the Yoruba people. Therefore, taking another stand at this time is not far-fetched. If you look at the genealogy of political parties in Nigeria since 1999, you will take note that most Nigerians have decided that there should be only two parties that are slugging it out for the presidency. And as of now, we have the APC and the PDP. The Labour Party, which has come up very, very strong, is like an offshoot of the PDP. Therefore, nobody will stop anybody from supporting Mr. Peter Obi, a man who ran, from my own opinion, a successful administration when he was governor of Anambra State. I was lucky to meet him in Oka at that time, at least once. So nobody will oppose that. But before you can make such pronouncement, there should be enough consultation, not just within Afenifere, but beyond Afenifere. And I believe that is what the Yoruba leadership has done, to say that let us have more consultation, and let us see whether the relevance of what our people are saying support what Papa Adebanjo has said and this group has decided. I believe that in praying for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Baba Fashoranti was doing the right thing.
You're saying that Pa Adebanjo did not make enough consultations and he supported and pronounced Peter Obi as a choice of the Yoruba unilaterally. Is that what you are saying?
No, I didn't say he did. I said he did not make, he may not have made enough consultation. He may have made consultation within the group of Afenifere, but for Yoruba leadership is beyond Afenifere. We have Obas who are not members of Afenifere. We have clergymen, both who are not members of Afenifere. We have imams. We have leaders of traditional religion. We have Iyaloja. We have so many groups. So you cannot say the leadership is not important. There's still Afenifere that can decide for the Yoruba people. The leadership of Afenifere, whoever is made the leader of Afenifere is also the leader of the Yoruba. And if you look beyond just those who are on the register of Afenifere when he wants to take such fundamental decision. I believe that our father, Papa Adebanjo, may not have made such a wide consultation, but he may have consulted with his own group. No doubt about it.
Okay, we're talking about 2023 politics and the position of, the Afenifere and Yoruba leaders and Papa Adebanjo, the acting leader of the group. Now, how much influence, really, does a socio-political group like Afenifere wield in terms of determining electoral directions or outcomes?
Afenifere is a moral force. Afenifere is a moral force because it's a legacy institution of the Yoruba people. But we need to project it beyond just those who are going to the meetings regularly. We need to project it to a larger spectrum of leaders. That is what will make it to fully occupy what we expect it to do. It goes a long way if it should embody the aspiration of the people. Because the jobs ahead it's a lot in Yoruba land. It is not, you cannot just do it if you are doing it in an inclusive manner where other people are not involved. there's a lot that needs to be done. And that can only be done by making wider consultation, making sure that other people are involved, especially those who are carrying direct mandate of the Yoruba people, the governors. You cannot ignore the governors and say you are representing Yoruba people. That is my own opinion.
Well, since the death of Pa Abraham Adesanya in 2008, the Afenifere has not been as strong as it was, say perhaps in 1999 and thereafter up to 2003. Do you see this conflict between Pa Fashoranti and Pa Adesanya representing perhaps the beginning of the end of Afenifere as a strong force, either as a cultural group or as a social group or as a political group?
I've said earlier that there is no conflict at all. Papa Fashoranti is the leader of Afenifere. Papa Adebanjo is the acting leader. And when you are acting on behalf of the principal. I believe that what we need to do is to agree on the way forward. And I believe that we can build on what we have gained in Akure to bring in more people so that we can strengthen the organization, so that we can fully represent the interests of our people. We cannot say that it's only we cannot continue to miniaturize the organization and allow it to grow forward. So I believe that what you call crisis is an attempt, it will actually strengthen the organization. I believe that Papa Adebanjo, who by the grace of God is a very active elderly man, will understand what has happened as a positive thing and will take necessary step to talk to Papa Fashoranti so that we know what to do next. I also believe that many of us, the younger people, will meet again Papa Adebanjo to discuss this matter because we have to build on what we have gained in Akure so that other leaders can come in. You cannot discountenance people like Shibisi Akonde, Pius Akinyelure, Cornelius Adebayo. You cannot discountenance these people in the affairs of the Yoruba people or in the affairs of Nigeria. So it is necessary that we carry as many people in than saying that we are going to dissipate our energy unnecessarily in unnecessary bickering. This, what is happening now, should be used as an Eliza to strengthen the organization.
Okay, but let me ask you just one more question, for our enlightenment. Why is the Afenifere organized and managed like a conclave of geriatrics? Because all the people you have been mentioning, all these are geriatrics representing, a group that has a lot of young people out there.
I don't think so. I think it is simply accidental. You can see that, like at the Akure meeting, Dr. Kulolajide was there representing the Yoruba Council of Elders. And Dr. Kulolajide has been part of this Yoruba Council of Elders for more than 20 years or thereabouts. When he started, can you call him an old man? There are many young people in Afenifere who are in their 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s. So it happens that the leadership is elderly. But you are right that those things need to be addressed. Some years ago, Papa Adesanya set up a committee to draft a constitution for Afenifere. And part of the recommendation of that committee was that there should be a board of trustees where some of the elderly people can better function. I think the way things are going, we need to take action so that younger people can play more prominent roles in the organization. So your observation is noted.
Well, on that note, I would like to thank you very much, Mr. Dare Babarinsa, for joining us on This Day Live.